Wilma here today. We are starting the podcast. This is Mastering Funnels podcast number 5. Today we're streaming to a lot of different places. Folks who are watching on TikTok right now, go ahead and join the YouTube live stream if you want to see what I'm about to be sharing. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be discussing today. So first of all, I hope you are all doing well. Jason Wilma here, pumped to be doing this again. Hey, I'm doing this 5 weeks in a row. I think what they say is, the people who start a podcast typically only make it to 7 podcasts. So we are more than halfway there if I'm doing my math right, which is completely off, obviously. So hello to you folks who are watching on YouTube. Hello to the folks on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm not going live on Instagram today, going live on Twitch as well. And on TikTok over to my left. I hope you are all well. Again, if you want to see what I'm about to share on my screen, join the YouTube or another channel of your choice. But I'm going to be sharing my screen today. So what we're talking about today, we are going to be discussing single image ads and how and why they're so powerful. So last week we talked about hooks in video and how to leverage hooks in your advertising to really pull that person or that viewer kind of into what you're about to tell them. Now, the second thing, though, is let's just say that we are not focusing on hooks in video today. What we're talking about are image ads. Now, you might think that image ads don't hold a candle to video, but what I will tell you, and I can speak from history, I can speak from data, is that single image ads are really good at also testing your hook. Hey, see more and more viewers. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you have a question today, throw it down below. So we're kind of discussing what we're going to be going over today. So we're talking about single image ads and the importance of using single image ads specifically to test your headlines or to test your written hooks, to test your copy. Last week, we talked about how to use hooks in YouTube, YouTube ads or in TikTok ads in video specifically. But today we're talking about single image ads, and you're going to find these primarily on Facebook and Instagram. There's a powerful reason why we will be talking about this. Then what I'm going to do is hey guys, more viewers. What we're going to be doing after that is we're going to be talking about UTM parameters. Now, I know that this is not everybody's favorite thing, but if you're tuning into this, you're most likely involved in digital marketing. So if you want your digital marketing to be effective and you want to drive revenue to your business, what you should think about when you hear UTMs is in fact ROI or money, because what a UTM does is it allows us to follow the click all the way through into our analytics so that we can see and pretty much have all of the proof that we need in order to make sure that our ads are actually moving the needle for us in the right direction. So UTMs do not lie. What they will do is they will tell you how effective your ad strategy is across multiple platforms. So we're going to be talking about that. And I'm going to show you how to do that in Facebook and Instagram ads. So I'm going to have a single image ad. I'm getting ready to turn on ads on Facebook and Instagram. And I'll just show you how I'm going to, this takes minutes to do. I'm going to add in these specific parameters, and that's going to push everything through into my Google Analytics. So there is no guessing at all on what source, which ad group, which ad, which variation of which ad actually is moving the needle. So there you are. And then what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about advanced tracking. Advanced tracking are some deeper level pieces. Once you have your head around this UTM game, there are other advanced softwares out there. I'm going to show you one that I'm using today right now that you can get on AppSumo. It's a heck of a deal. No, there's no affiliate link or anything like that. This is just straight up value to you. So, and then after that, what we will be doing after that is getting into your questions. So I'm going to take a swig of water here. Again, if you have any questions, throw them in the chat. I'll address them as we go, and then we'll get started. So, all right, here we are. So I hope everybody is doing well. Today is July 19th of this year, 2022. And a lot of the discussion that I've had thus far on the podcast has been mostly around TikTok, just because I think TikTok is a shiny object. But we cannot forget that there are plenty of folks still on Facebook and Instagram. So how do you go advertise to those folks effectively? Well, one thing that I've just been testing along with clients and team members is the effective use of single image ads. Now, why single image ads? Why would you ever want to use single image ads if the folks of the lords of the platforms have said that video is being prioritized and video ads are the way to go? Well, one thing that I would suggest is that companies like, Mark Zuckerberg owns, and shout out to Mark, they're trying to make revenue. They're trying to make money. So they have to make money for their shareholders. So they're going to say, hey, use video. But what I am seeing is that, yes, video is effective, but single image ads are also very, very effective. And here's where I think they are the most effective. Where single image ads are the most effective is by isolating a specific value or isolating a specific pain point or desire of that ad viewer and really zooming in and focusing on that. This could be a pain that they have. This could be the desire that they have. This could be an empathetic statement where you're relating to them. Now, the problem with the video is you do all of these other things and you're giving up a lot of information or value in videos. And there's nothing wrong with videos. But let's say that you haven't necessarily figured out, hey, what is the main headline? What is the main value prop? What is the main thing that I can do to drive people into my funnel? Well, a really good way of strategically testing this is by creating single image ads. So over time, you're going to find out whether the single image ad, is it pain that is getting somebody to take that click and the next step into your funnel? Is it empathizing with understanding where they've been? It's kind of noting the struggles that they've had, but understanding where they want to go. You can really sum that up in a single image ad and the headline. So I would say this, do not just throw out single image ads like they don't belong anymore. And in fact, what I would like you to do, after this podcast is when you get on Facebook or on Instagram, start looking specifically at these single image ads. You notice that they're not trying to tell the whole story. You notice what a single image ad is. The job is to do is it's to stop the scroll. Stop the scroll and then present somebody with that headline. And the headline and the copy is really what you're going to be focusing on. So the headline and the copy is going to get somebody to click through onto the next page. I think what we have to understand when we're running ads is it is not all about conveying all of the information in an ad. The purpose of an ad is to get them to click to the landing page. And then the purpose of the landing page is to present them with the call to action. So in this case, I'm going to be setting up an image ad here shortly. The purpose of that image ad is to push somebody to the landing page where they can watch this Mastering Funnels Mastering Funnels training. So if people have questions about the coaching program that we have, then it's going to address those there. I'm not going to try to, I'm not going to try to, get this whole story out about what the training is about in a single image ad. What I'm trying to do in the single image ad is to isolate where are these people like struggling. The pain is the pitch. As Alex Hormozi says in his book, 100 Million Offers. Definitely would recommend that book if you guys need some marketing materials to read. So the pain is the pitch. So what can I do in that feed? I can stop them with something that they are familiar with, or I can stop them or stop their scroll with an image ad. And then your eye typically goes down to the headline. So once it goes down to the headline, I want to write something that's captivating there. Most of the time, what I'm going to be saying in that headline is either understanding where their desired state is, where they want to be. So what you're about to see is I'm going to be cooking up an ad for people who are going after this 2 Comma Club award in ClickFunnels, people who are trying to scale up their online offer. So if they have an online offer, chances are the best way to get to that 2 Comma Club award or scaling your offer is typically through paid ads. And so what I'm going to be doing is trying to stop their scroll with a single image ad, present them with the headline. And I'm not sure what I'll be using. I have something written down. Nothing's finalized. But in the copy, then in the description. So you see the image, and then what you see below that is typically the headline. And then your eye typically goes up to the copy. So they'll see the headline and then their eyes will go up to the copy. And in the copy, that's where I'm going to be trying to empathize with them and understand like, hey, this is not an easy gig. This is not necessarily just a one funnel away. You're going to do this in a weekend. This is a technical process. So again, stop the scroll with the image. They see the headline. I present them with the copy, and then the copy leads them to the landing page. And hopefully the landing page is compelling enough for them to provide their email. And then that's where they will receive the training. So this works for every funnel, whether you're a SaaS company, whether you're presenting somebody with a free offer, whether it's like a free trial, whether it's a demo, whether this is, if this is an e-com, it's a little bit different. You're probably going to be highlighting your photos, or your products. And why a single image ads even works in an e-com store is because if you have different products, you could see like, hey, what is the one product, or what are the two products that are getting me the most clicks? And again, what you're doing is this is market research for really top of the funnel. Now, here's where a lot of people miss out though. And we're going to kind of shift here into UTM tracking, and I'm going to share my screen here in a second. So how do you know which single image ad is actually going to move the needle for you? Well, if you are running an offer on ClickFunnels, if you have Google Analytics, if you have, there's other analytics platforms out there, what you're trying to do is you're trying to take that click of what somebody has right there. They're clicking on your ad, and then they're following you onto your server. And what we can do is we can pass information to that server. So is it headline 1? Is it headline 2? Is it image 1? Is it image 2? We can pass all of that information through. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you now. So in this portion, we're going to be talking about tracking with UTM parameters. So UTMs, it stands for Urchin Tracking Module. Not that you need to know that, but typically when I think about UTMs, I'm thinking about ROI. When we are in the land of growth, it matters drastically if we can prove what we're doing. And what I mean by prove is taking the data and making sense of it. Now, a lot of times people just, cook up a Facebook campaign or a YouTube campaign or a TikTok campaign and just try to drive traffic to their website. Well, how do you know how those specific clicks are behaving on your website? Sure, we've got a good cost or CPM when it comes to TikTok ads, but are those leads actually as qualified as somebody coming from Instagram or from YouTube or from Facebook? Well, the key is passing parameters through. That is the proof. The UTM connects the click all the way down to that conversion, whether the conversion is a sale, whether that conversion is a requested demo, book a phone call, or it's opting into a webinar. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly how to set these up. And if you have questions along the way, just let me know. So, all right, so we're sharing the screen and we are diving into Facebook Ads Manager. So if you're running ads on Facebook or on Instagram, you're probably familiar with this. So here's my image that is going to stop the scroll, I hope. These are just, guys, this is just for demo's sake. I'm probably going to run these, but yeah, we'll see. We're going to be working on the headlines, but what I'm doing here, you'll see, is I'm going to be helping these people who are after this 2 Comma Club award. And if you're unfamiliar with that, the 2 Comma Club award is something for an online offer where you're pushing your revenue through ClickFunnels. And if you push $1 million through ClickFunnels, then you get rewarded with this plaque. I would love to have one someday. I'm going to have one someday. But really, what people struggle with on their way to this 2 Comma Club award is understanding how to run ads effectively. So I've got my image ad right here. I've got a headline. So like I said, typically our eyes will focus on this image first, and then we'll go down to the headline, and then we'll go up to the copy. So I don't really have a full copy at the moment, but what we're doing is I've just kind of set this up in order to publish later. So I've got my image, and it's important that you put this in a 1-to-1. If you put this in a carousel, your ad is actually going to be smaller. So if you're looking for single image ads, I would leave it in a 1-to-1 ratio. That means, if it's, 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels, that's what 1-by-1 means. The reason why you want to use 1-by-1 is it's going to eat up more screen real estate. Simple as that. So you have this option down here where it says URL parameters. This is a boring spot down low that I shouldn't say nobody. Guys, this takes not even 2 minutes. This takes less than 1 minute to fill out. And this is going to give you all of the tracking info that you need. Now, this is set up differently on different platforms. I can talk about how to do this on Google next week or on TikTok. But today we're focusing on Facebook and Instagram. So if I go to this build a URL parameter, the source is typically where this click is coming from. So if I'm going to be running this only on Facebook, I'm going to type in Facebook, and I like to put underscore ads. That helps me differentiate between if this is organic coming from Facebook, which it's not going to be. But you don't have to put ads, but I like to put ads just so I know it's Facebook underscore ads, that is coming from a Facebook campaign. If it's Instagram, I'll just type in Instagram. So I'll be running this on both. And so one ad set, I will be using Facebook, and the other ad set I'll be doing Instagram. So we'll change the parameters. So the campaign medium, I'm going to say CPC. CPC stands for cost per click. Now here's where Facebook and Instagram are very, very powerful. Instead of typing in the campaign name, of doing this manually, you can just pull this automatically from Facebook. So if I just select campaign name, this is going to pull in the name of my campaign automatically. So right now it's Tofu, which is top of funnel, mastering funnels. So I'm pushing people to my mastering funnels funnel. And that's CBO. The CBO stands for campaign budget optimization. We can talk about that in a different podcast, but what it's doing is it's setting my budget at the campaign level to try to find the most the most effective cost per lead on this. So I'll probably have one ad set going after Facebook audiences, one ad set going after Instagram audiences for ClickFunnels, and then I will have either another campaign or another ad set focused on agency owners or people who want to be using paid ads and offering that service to their clients. So the campaign name is right here. Then the campaign content. This is your ad set. So when you're looking at Google Ads, or Google Analytics, this campaign content, or if you're looking in ClickFunnels, right? This is the name of your ad set. So why is this important? So I'm going to go to adset.name. A reminder here, do not do adset.id. That's not going to give you the information that you want. The adset ID is just some string of numbers. It's not going to make any sense to you. So I'm going to go to adset ID. What this is now going to tell me, this is going to show me which ad group is actually the most effective. So if I'm in my analytics, I can see which campaign is the most effective. Now I can dial it down to ad set. So in Mastering Funnels, I always preach, this is week 5, I always preach that we should be split testing. We're always split testing. And typically what we're split testing at this ad set level is our audience. The audience being the placement. So is this on Instagram or is this on Facebook? Is this an interest? Is this a demographic? Is this a lookalike audience? That's what you're saying at the ad set level. So you're really denoting who is the audience and where are they seeing this. Then there's this one last parameter that we want to add. And this is the powerhouse right down here. This is how we pass through the ad info. So in order to do this, you have to write UTM underscore term. So the term is found in your Google Analytics. And by the way, if this is kind of overwhelming, I do a much better job of this talking in the Mastering Funnels the Mastering Funnels course that you can definitely check out. There is a 14-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk to you other than your time. We talk all about UTMs in the week 3 about this. So the UTM term is the ad. So if I have different versions of this ad, if I have different images, if I have different headlines, if I have different descriptions, I'm going to create a new ad for every single variation. And what that's going to do is if I just push this through, I'm going to see which image, which headline, all of the combinations. I'm going to find out what is most effective when I am doing that. So I'm going to write UTM term, and then I'm going to write an ad name, and then I'm going to do curly bracket, and placement. So this placement is a little hack that I've come across. So right here. So what this placement is going to show you is where this ad was placed in or on their device. So is it the right corner? I'm not running right corner, by the way. You shouldn't either. It doesn't convert. So I'm putting this in the feed, and I'm putting this in stories. And so this placement option will show me, hey, was this clicked on in the right corner? Was it clicked on in the feed? Was it in a video stream? So really, you're going to find out your best ad placement. So not just are we going after which ad is it, it's which ad placement. Then when you click apply, you'll have this. And honestly, you could just copy this and set this aside, throw it in like a notes or something. And this is what I use every single time when I'm cooking up a new ad. Now, one hack is this: if you just hit publish, if we just hit publish and then we duplicate this ad, this will have all of our UTM information down there. So this is I cannot emphasize enough how many marketers are just losing money or losing results or just don't know how to read the data when it just takes 30 seconds of your time to put those parameters in. That is going to push all of your data through into Google Analytics. It's going to push it into ClickFunnels. It's going to push it into wherever you are sending your traffic. Now, reading that data is, obviously important as well. And right now in Mastering Funnels, I go over how to do that. That's in week 2. So right now we're using Universal Analytics, but we will soon shift to G4. And G4 actually does not have the UTM content or the UTM term at this moment. So we'll have to make an adjustment if they never use that, but I'm assuming that's just a feature that's coming in the future. So what I just showed you was how to add UTMs to your Facebook image ads, or for any type of ad for that matter. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you the exact proof. So if somebody comes to your website, they opt in, you will know exactly which source they came from. Was it Facebook? Was it Instagram? You will know which campaign it is, which ad set it was, and which ad and where that ad was placed. Absolutely. This could change your business. I know firsthand that this has changed businesses that I've worked with, because they were running ads, and good for them for running ads, but they didn't know where they didn't know how the ads were actually performing, right? So they knew Facebook was working or they knew Google was working, but they didn't actually know which part of the ads were working. And that's the last spot that you want to be. You don't want to be guessing in this game. You want to have this down to an exact science, because what you're doing is you're buying patterns of data. I'll say that one more time. I can break down ads to one sentence. You are buying patterns of data. And once you have those patterns of data, then what you can do with it is make decisions. And you're not going to be guessing about your campaign. You're not going to be guessing about your ad set or your ad. You will know what your winners are. Okay, I'm going to go back to this. We'll stop sharing screen for just a second. Let me know if you have any questions on UTMs. Again, this is a very boring, quote unquote, boring thing to talk about. But in the land of ROI, in the land of money, this is all the difference in the world. So if you have a question about UTM parameters, throw them below. Happy to ask a question. If you're watching this after the fact, throw it down below. And then we can keep talking about that at the end. Now, we're going to shift here to advanced tracking. So advanced tracking is taking those UTMs and going a step further. So there are problems with UTMs. I shouldn't say that. There's now problems. How do I phrase this? It's gotten much harder to run ads on platforms because of the iOS update, right? And the Android update. What you're not allowed to do anymore, or not allowed. Let me focus on my words here. So about a year ago, there was an update to iOS where people can opt out of the cookies, right? Out of the tracking cookies. And people who were running ads before were very reliant upon what the Facebook analytics told them, what the Google Ads analytics told them. What the Google Ads platform told them. But if somebody has opted out of tracking, then Facebook's really not going to be able to push any of that data through. And that is why we use UTMs. UTMs you don't rely on cookies for UTMs. You're just kind of printing a little bit of script that occurs after the URL, and that just passes into your UTMs. It's absolutely anonymous. It's good for the consumer. It's good for you. So there's a really beneficial reason to using these UTMs and passing this information through. So we've passed this information through. We can see it in our Google Analytics. Well, here comes the next kind of struggle. Let's say that you have a product that is something that people just can't buy, or something that people don't opt into the very first time they come to your website. So I've got an e-com partner, and people can't buy, not people can't buy. The product is several $100s. It's a great product, obviously, because they've scaled their offer, and we've scaled this for 3 years now. But it's several $100s. When they come through, they look at that product and they're like, okay, this is a great product. I'm not ready to spend $450 now, but I will kind of come back later. So one of the problems that we have in internet marketing is if some people come through, they look at this product, they leave, and then they come back. They come back maybe a day later. So let's say they come back a day later. Let's say that they see this ad on Facebook or on TikTok, and they come back later through a Google search ad. Well, in Google Analytics, what we're going to find is that sale has been associated to the Google ad click, because in Google Analytics, the sale is always attributed to the last click. So let's say you have 2 clicks. Let's say the first click comes from Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, right? They come, they check out your offer, they leave, and then they come back through because they're interested. They remember your URL, they punch it in Google, and they search for you, they click on an ad, and then they buy. Well, who's to say that click was organic, or that sale came from Google, right? I would argue that there's a portion of that attribution that needs to be associated with the first click. So the first click and the last click and every click in between should be part of that data set. Now, there's different sorts of tools out there. One that you're probably familiar with if you're in the land of advertising is Hyros, Hyros. I'm a big fan of that. But that's several $1,000s per year to use. If you want to use something like it, I've found something, and you can check it out on AppSumo. It is called Weberlow. I'm using it right now, and it is absolutely awesome, because what it will do is it will show you the journey leading to revenue. So if somebody came to your website organically, if they came back, and of course this is anonymous as well, and then if they ultimately buy, you will see that journey. So I'm going to share my screen one more time, and I'm just going to show you this. So there's no affiliate link on any of this. I'm just showing you because it's valuable to you. It's valuable for me to help you. So this is a Weberlow UTM ad tracking. It costs $79. This is a lifetime deal. The one caveat is this: if your funnel or if your page has more than 30,000 views a month, this will stop working this will stop tracking after 30,000 page views. So this is perfect though for me, because I don't get 30,000 page views a month, hopefully soon. But when that time comes, we'll scale up and we'll add on more. But this has been a absolutely great tool, because let me show you what I can see. So this person came in, and they came in organically. You see that here's the UTMs again, right? So this came in through Google organic. And then they came to my on-demand training. They looked at Retargeting IQ. Retargeting IQ is a $27 mini workshop that we have teaching people about analytics, UTMs, and retargeting. It's a great offer for $27. It's the best 2 hours that you'll spend. They went to the checkout page, but they didn't buy. Then they came back through and they watched something called Mastering Funnels. They came to the Mastering Funnels page, and then they ended up going to the store and they purchase. So I'm not going to show the email, but this follows them all the way through to revenue. So getting back to what I was talking about earlier, there's first click attribution and there's last click attribution. What you're trying to do is you're really trying to find where is this buyer coming from, and ultimately where are they? Where's this first click originating, and where's that last click? Where do they come from? Where do they go? There has to be a song about that. So if you have any questions about Weberlow, if you have any questions about Hyros, more than happy to talk about those. But again, what we're trying to do is follow the person through this journey all the way from first click to last click to purchase. And that is the secret sauce. Now, unfortunately, you can't use an ad tracking or click tracking software like this if you're unfamiliar with UTMs. So again, plug to be using UTMs. They're absolutely free. It takes a few minutes of your time to set up, and it is worth every single minute that you're putting into it, because it's going to give you a treasure trove of data. Okay. If you have any questions on that, let me know. Throw them in the comments. If you're watching this after the fact, just let me know. And then, we'll go on to your questions here next. Okay. So, questions from you. Here we go. First question. I am new to running ads, but I'm ready to start. Where should I begin? So if you're new to running ads, what I would suggest is this. First of all, check out the course, because there's 5 steps to running an effective funnel. One is you have to have the architecture. You have to know where you're sending people. You can't just turn on ads to your website and hope for the best. That is not a good way of, I mean, I commend you for the optimism, but that is a good way to lose your shirt. That's a good way to just lose your money to the big ad platforms. So you have to have an architecture. Typically, what I mean by that is a landing page, there's a call to action, and there's a thank you page. And it's on that thank you page where you put this thing called a conversion. The conversion is the thing that is moving the business forward. So that is somebody booking a demo with you, that is somebody booking a phone call with you, that is somebody watching your webinar, downloading your lead magnet, buying something for you, signing up for a 2-week trial, you get it. So after they do that, after they convert, that needs to be found in your analytics, and your UTMs that we've just been talking about attach all the way down to those. So after that, we need retargeting, and then we have to be running split testing. And split testing, we have to be using UTMs because that's going to give us the insight of what is working and what is not. That's going to help us to scale. So if you're new to running ads, what I would suggest is this. First, do the Mastering Funnels framework, get your architecture figured out, get your conversions figured out, and as well as your UTMs, and then start with retargeting. So retargeting is the easiest spot to start spending money because it's probably going to be the most effective way that you spend money online. And I would suggest using Facebook and Instagram for this. The reason being is because your audience size, the way that retargeting works is your bucket has to be so full, sort of an audience, before it can activate and start. On Facebook and Instagram, your bucket size doesn't have to be that big. I mean, we're talking 80 to 1,000 or 100 people. On things like YouTube and TikTok, that takes 1,000 people. So if you have an offer, if you're doing, organic outreach, if you're just driving people to your website through word of mouth, through traditional marketing, it doesn't matter. Retargeting will stay in front of them. So that's exactly where I would start. Now, the next part is the intent, right? So as soon as you're ready to start sending in traffic, new traffic, cold traffic, this is where I have to, I don't want to get too long on this. I could probably talk about this for an hour. But really what you're trying to do is you're trying to understand, is this disruptive or is there intent? What I mean by that is this. If you have an e-com product, right? If you have a software, if you have an offer that somebody isn't necessarily searching for, then that is a good spot to use disruptive marketing. Disruptive marketing is most likely going to be found on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, where you're just seeing these videos in front of you. They're popping up. Maybe it's a single image ad, and there's just seeing this. And so what you can do with that is you can put those ads in front of people who have interests. Now, where the money is typically is if somebody has intent. If they're typing in their problem, right? And if they're typing in their problem and they're searching for a solution, that is where Google ads and YouTube ads really, really work well. And I know I said YouTube for disruptive because it can be, but you can also use YouTube for following people around if they type in a specific query. Best retargeting course, right? Learn how to scale ads. That is where you can put your ad in front of people who've already kind of like waved their hand like, hey, I'm interested. I'm trying to do this. So that's where I would start running ads. I would probably start on Facebook and Instagram. You're going to probably have the best, I don't want to say luck. You're going to have the best results there, most likely. And then I would graduate up into Google Ads, because Google Ads is going to kind of unlock that thinking of how to go find intent. And as soon as you unlock Google Ads, that's search ads, and that is YouTube ads. And then after that, I would go down the TikTok route. I probably wouldn't go TikTok or anything like that to start with. So question from TikTok. I will get you. Ultra Digital Marketer. Thank you for the question. Is it worth to invest in sales attribution tools? That is worth, money per year. So sales attribution tools, I would love to know what you mean by that. Here's how I'm going to interpret it, right? So sales attribution, absolutely. We should be investing our time and money and resources into sales attribution. But I think what we can do, there's 2 answers. So one, if you have a CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot, or just, plenty of other CRMs, what you can do is you can pass those UTMs into your CRM according to where those people came in. Let me say that again. So if you're running Salesforce, or you have HubSpot, you have the CRM, and you're running ads, those UTMs that I talked about earlier will pass through to your lead info or that deal or to that pipeline. If somebody comes into your pipeline and the deal gets started, typically you have their name in there, their first name, their last name, their email, but also you can pass through your UTM information. And that is going to be key, because you can run ads left and right and get leads left and right, but leads are leads. They're not qualified. So if you're kind of in the mindset of demand gen, where you're going after the people who are specifically trying to solve their problem right now, pass those UTMs through into your Salesforce, into your CRM, because that is going to give you your sales attribution. That is going to give you, this is the ad that worked to get somebody to opt in. And then you can follow them all the way through your pipeline. So if they're in your CRM, you can see over time that, hey, man, I might not like Facebook, but it looks like Facebook is giving me the best qualified leads, or the same thing for YouTube. It'll give you the source, it'll give you the campaign, it'll give you the ad group, it'll give you the name. And if it comes from Google search, will even push through the keyword that they used in order to get there. So I don't know if I answered your question, Ultra Digital Marketer. Thank you for the question, by the way. Sorry, folks. TikTok is over here. So I'm trying to, engage with people on both platforms here. But that's a terrific question. Let me know if I didn't answer your question. If I did, I can move on. If I didn't, I'm happy to kind of dive in more into that. Now, if you're doing e-com, right? Or if you're just doing, a random funnel where you don't have a CRM, you can still pass that information through into your Google Analytics, and your Google Analytics will have that revenue, and you can tie that revenue back to that click as well. So again, the secret sauce here is UTMs. I can say that with assurance. I help my friend scale his SaaS company. They're worth very much money now. I think they're at a $500 million valuation. And that was the way that they scaled. They passed their UTMs into their Salesforce so that they knew where their best leads were coming from. And at the time, it was only Facebook ads. It still is Facebook ads. But that was the secret sauce. That's what I helped him do, to crack that code, to take the ads, to push that information through. And now, now they are just knowing exactly where to spend money. Now, is it bulletproof? Unfortunately, it's not. And that's why we need different sources of data. But that is why we started using, things like Hyros and this ad tracking software, so we can tell more of the story in between there. So in Salesforce or in your CRM, it's going to pass that last click through. Maybe they came to the website, right? Maybe they came to the website another way the first time, and then eventually they opted in. It's only that last click that's going to get passed into Salesforce or into your CRM, unless you're doing first click and last click attribution. So there's ways around that as well. But that's a great question. And ultimately, that is the key. That is the absolute key. It's using info, passing it into your CRM or your analytics to make good decisions on it that are based on revenue. Okay. Great question. Thank you very much. Hey, Seven. Thanks for joining. Okay. So let's go to the next question. We might have time for a few more, and then we'll end. So new to running ads. Okay. How do I go about getting leads organically? And I think this is probably, I think this might be the last question. Here's my thinking. I love paid ads. I love living in the land of paid attribution, because it is trackable, it is predictable, and it is scalable. But not everybody is there. Not everybody can run ads. So how do you go get folks into your funnels organically? So this would be a way, right? Going live, engaging with your audience, demonstrating your expertise, educating them, telling them stories, helping them along the way. And I think through stories, what you're doing is, one, you're capturing the attention of people, but you're also empathizing with them and be like, hey, I've totally been there, right? I've totally been in a spot where we're running ads and we don't know if it works or not, right? Those were the early days. Hey, we're running ads. It looks like it's working. Well, what's working about it? What's not working about it? I don't know. We just turned them on and now we're getting leads. So I think one of the things that most people, and including myself, so I'm speaking absolutely from where my mindset is at. We are on episode 5 of this podcast. The main reason why that I wanted to put out this podcast was to put out organic content and to grow an audience. And the way that you do that is through educating people and providing them with stories and eventually building trust. Because eventually, I think if some people eventually say like, hey, I'm ready to run ads to my offer. I'm ready to start at my retargeting. They know exactly where to go. They know exactly that I can be a resource for them. So, I mean, you can go into Facebook groups, you can DM people, you can look at hashtags. There's a lot of different ways that we can go out about and get leads organically. But I think one thing that we have to understand is this takes time. The organic piece takes time. This is an investment. I want to do this for an entire year. I would love to put out 50 or so episodes in this year in order to just stay consistent, know what I'm talking about, but to help other people do this. So I am doing this so that I can get trust, but I'm also making content. And then from this live, what we're doing is we're chopping it up. We're putting it on YouTube Shorts. We're putting it on TikTok. We're putting it on Instagram and Facebook. We're putting it on, I'm even forgetting now at the moment, Twitter. Like, we're just cutting this up and putting this everywhere. Essentially, what we're trying to do is build a net, build our own little media company here, and then push people back to our offer. Now, here's where I would say that people who are only going about this the organic way are probably missing out. I would still suggest, even if you're trying to go get leads organically, doing TikToks or doing lives or doing whatever, you should always have retargeting in place, because retargeting is just going to serve those people up with your offer. It's going to stay in front of them. You can program it to say, hey, I'm going to like put an impression in front of this person, a couple times for the next 2 weeks. Or maybe it's, several times for the next 7 days or whatnot. Maybe it's heavy the first 7 days. Maybe it's light the next 14. And then maybe I've got some deal coming up in November on Black Friday, and I want to dip back into the people who've come to my website. That is the power of retargeting. So even if you're not ready to run ads, I would always suggest using this format, getting your pixels in place, getting everything kind of ready, so that when you're ready to run ads, everything is banked. You have all of these pixels, you have all of this, this tracking elements in place. So when you push go, you can dip down into those audiences, and then you can put ads in front of them. Don't just wait until, I'm going to do it 2 months from now. I'm going to do it 3 months from now. I'm going to do it 5 months from now. That is typically not the way that I would go. So if you're going about doing this organically, first of all, hats off to you. That's hard, but it's worth it. This is not easy, but it's worth it. You're putting yourself out there. But what you can do is, just set up your pixels, set up all of those things now, so that when you have time to dip into that retargeting or activate your inbound, you have this funnel, you have everything absolutely ready to go. So thank you for this question. This wasn't today. This came in from last week. And I think that's where we will stop for today, unless somebody throws a question in real quickly. That's where we will stop for today. So lots of great questions. Let me just kind of recap what we talked about. So today, the first thing that we talked about was why to use single image ads and why those are just such a powerhouse to be able to test your messaging. Again, when we use video on top of the funnel, that's great. We can use hooks. We can extract those people and understand where the value is in those hooks. But sometimes it's worth it to just put that single image in front of folks, so we can test our headlines, really test the offer, and understand the psychology of what is getting somebody to click. Then we talked about tracking with UTMs, and we spent a lot of our time talking about UTMs. We'll probably talk about it more next week as well, but UTMs are the thing that connect that click all the way to your conversion. Now, you can even add UTMs to your organic links. So if you have a like a link tree or something where somebody clicks in your bio and they click there, and then a link tree pops up, you can see it in mine. Every single one of those links in my link tree, I use Shorby, by the way, it's not Linktree, but every single one of those links has a UTM attached to it. So if they come and do something on my website, I will know that they came through that link tree. And that gives me the insight that they probably came from TikTok, or they probably came from Instagram, right? I can just assume that. So you could have a different link tree for each one, but I think that's a little bit of overkill. So we talked about UTMs and parameters and how that pushes the data through, and that really is going to help you with sales. That's going to help you with the revenue. It's going to help you spend more money effectively when it comes to your online and advertising. And then we talked about a little bit more advanced things after that. So there's a tool that I'm using right now called Weberlow, which is going to help me with my first click, last click, and every click in between. It's going to help me with that attribution. It's just going to give me the insight of what does this entire user journey look like, so I don't just have to rely on this last click. And then we talk through some awesome questions. How to run ads, where do I begin, how do you get people organically, and is it worth it to invest in sales attribution tools? Absolutely. So thank you for joining me on this live today. Thank you for joining me on the podcast. Absolutely a pleasure. I love doing this. I will be back next week. We might be in a different day next week. I am flying next Tuesday, so I might have to move this to Monday. So again, I want to do this every week, so I'll just probably do it then. So thank you to those folks who tuned in today. Thank you for all the questions. Absolutely enjoy doing this for you. Hope that you found value. And if you have questions after the fact, or if you're watching this recorded, go ahead and drop your questions down below in the comments. Anywhere that you're seeing this, I will see them. I will add your questions for next week, and then we'll just keep on going. If you're interested in learning more about mastering funnels, you can go ahead and do that. That is an online coaching course that's going to help you scale. It's going to help you start. It's going to help you think through all of those little pieces that you need to build your funnel so that you can scale successfully and use things like retargeting and UTMs, and ultimately just spend money to make money. That is the whole goal behind it. Maybe you'll see some ads coming out from us in this next week. All right. Thank you very much. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Take care, and we'll see you on the